So Brazil was a race this weekend. It was actually a pretty interesting race, even though no rain came. Yeah, all that talk this weekend about rain and a cyclone hitting the track and all that. And Verstappen gonna whoop the field in a rainy masterclass. And yet, the rain never came. Instead, the only masterclass happening today was Lando Norris dominating from flag to flag and taking advantage of Piastri once again falling apart. It is fucking crazy with Piastri how McLaren favoring Lando at Monza completely destroyed Piastri's season. It is crazy how one team order call from Monza ruined Piastri's season. Because Piastri's collapse this season needs to be studied for future generations. Because this collapse is something. I mean, you want to know one thing that doesn't help Piastri's case this weekend? Not only DNFing in the sprint race and losing max points to Lando, but getting yourself a 10-second penalty for causing vehicular terrorism on Kimi Antonelli and Charles Leclerc. And also, this weekend was a weekend Ferrari wants to forget, with both cars DNFing from damage and crashes. So yeah, this was a double disaster weekend for Ferrari. Jesus Christ, I think Ferrari fans just want this nightmare to end. Good God. But yeah, and of course, Verstappen, he really struggled throughout the weekend. He even got eliminated in Q1 off pace for the first time in his career. Not even a grid penalty. He just had no pace this weekend. Throughout the sprint race. I mean, except the sprint race, but the qualifying for the actual race, he had no speed, which then led to him having to start from pit lane because they changed the power unit. But I'll say this, even though Lando won, Verstappen had the drive of the day, though. I mean, it's going from all the way from pit lane to still finish on the podium. Great drive for Verstappen. Even got the lead, but couldn't hold on to it because of pit strategy. Just disappointing overall for Verstappen. Even though he had a great drive, it's still a disappointing day, though, considering he lost ground to Lando in the championship. I'll say this, though. I think it would have been a better day for Verstappen if he didn't lose ground in the title to Lando. But because he did, it honestly doesn't feel that good because that was the one thing Verstappen couldn't do this weekend was lose ground in the championship to Lando. And now this effectively pretty much ends Verstappen's hopes at the title. Because now with 3 races to go, Verstappen's 49 points out. Effectively for Verstappen to even have a chance at the title. Because 49 points, that's effectively 2 races back. With 3 to go. Verstappen effectively's got to win the last 3 races to even have a chance. And then needs outside help to have a shot at the title. And being in a position where you have to win and rely on outside help, that's the worst possible position you can put yourself in for the championship. Because you should never be in a position where you have to rely on outside help from stuff out of your control to win a title. Especially when you had all season to not put yourself in that position. And Verstappen didn't take advantage of it. So all I say to all the Verstappen fans is when he gets eliminated in a couple weeks, don't blame Lando. Don't blame McLaren favoritism for Lando. Blame Verstappen and Red Bull for putting themselves in that position. I mean, yeah, we could keep pointing the finger at McLaren and their favoritism for Lando because Lando is more marketable than Piastri. But at the end of the day, everybody else had all season not to put themselves in a position where Lando favoritism could effectively lead to a Lando championship. Everyone failed to take advantage of it. But yeah, and I do believe there is favoritism with Lando at McLaren. And I'll be honest, if I'm Piastri, I would honestly look at leaving McLaren in a couple years and go somewhere else. Because I'll tell you right now, the way this is going, Piastri is never going to win a championship at McLaren. This season was his best shot with McLaren. He's never going to have a season like this ever again. Especially when Piastri, he had the 10-second penalty, fell all the way down, got back up to 5th, but loses 15 points, and then loses 8 on top of that. So keep in mind, going into this weekend, Piastri was 1 point behind Lando in the championship. Now Piastri is 24 points out in the championship. So yeah, Piastri's DNFing in the 10-second penalty. That is how much of a difference that can make in the championship. So yeah, even though there is a case that McLaren is sabotaging Piastri to favor Lando, Piastri didn't do himself any favors this weekend when he puts himself in bad positions throughout this weekend and loses all the grip on him he possibly has. But I'll say this, Piastri should honestly look at going somewhere else. He definitely deserves a championship, and he deserves to be the #1 driver somewhere, and he's never going to be that with McLaren. Not while Lando Norris is on that team. Since, Lando's more marketable with McLaren because, British driver, British team, yada, yada, fucking yada. But, yeah, honestly, McLaren this year is honestly the reason why team orders need to be fucking illegal next year. Like, F1 needs to ban team orders and have a 100% rule similar to what NASCAR and IndyCar have. So that we can have all the drivers race every single lap of every single race 100% to the best of their ability. But yeah, it was a solid weekend overall. But yeah, Lando Norris now really gets one step closer to that championship. Still 3 races left and anything can happen, but it's starting to look like Lando has this championship in the bag. Man, just imagine, what if Oscar didn't get screwed over in Monza off McLaren favoritism? If only. I don't know if that would have changed anything, but hey, if Oscar didn't get screwed over in Monza, it's a whole different season because momentum can change on a dime, just like that. Still 3 races left. Anything can happen. But can Lando put this thing in the bag in these next couple weeks? Or do Piastri and Verstappen still have some fight left? The streets of Las Vegas will really decide that in a couple weeks. But yeah, still a solid weekend overall for F1. But yeah, still looking like a solid title fight. Still 3 races left. Anything can happen. See y'all in Vegas in 2 weeks. I'm out.